the MS Michigan Man 64 podcast. My name is Brian Wallace, and I am the MS Michigan Man 64. The MS Michigan Man 64 podcast is about chronic disease awareness. I have had multiple sclerosis for the last 27 years. It's an invisible chronic disease that I've been battling for half of my life. I want to share with you what it is like living with the chronic disease from my experiences and the experiences of other chronic disease warriors. We can fight to have a voice to those that want to listen. Together, we can motivate and educate. Hi, and welcome to the MS Michigan Man 64 podcast. Today, I am sitting down with Liliana. Liliana is originally from Colombia, and she moved to the United States when she was about 11, 12 years old. And she's been living here ever since, and she spent a lot of time in the New Jersey area, and she recently got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2023. And she actually has presented symptoms a lot longer than that, but I'd like to welcome to the podcast Liliana. How you doing, Liliana?
Good, and you, Brian?
I am doing all right. So, Liliana, I met you on Facebook, and you're another MSer like me. Can you kind of, and I know you've already told me, but can you kind of tell us your story about your journey about getting diagnosed? Because it's just so interesting to me.
Okay. Well, when my mother was pregnant with me, she had typhoid fever like a month before she had me.
Mm-hmm.
Doctors, because I didn't move, so the doctor said she could be born sick. She could be born dead because we don't feel her moving.
Mm-hmm.
She could be born sick, or she could be, she won't get the typhoid, immune to that.
Mm-hmm.
So what they didn't realize is that it changed my autoimmune system.
Okay.
So I was born sick. Like since the first day I tried to drink a bottle,
mm-hmm.
I threw it up. I was allergic to milk. I couldn't eat certain things. I can't touch chocolate. And one of the things they told my mom when I was little, this is back in the Stone Age, was that I did not have certain enzymes in my stomach to process certain food.
Yeah.
And so I got shots for that for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
But what my grandmother, which basically I recognize her as my mother,
mm-hmm.
she always had home remedies for me. And one of the things that we found out that really helped my stomach was drinking Coca-Cola. Because I don't know if you remember back then, the Coca-Cola had coca leaves in it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the coca leaves basically, a lot of people make the mistake thinking that the coca leaf is like a Coke. No, the coca leaf is it's like weed. It's used for burns, for stomach,
mm-hmm.
for a lot of things. What really kills you and makes you high is all the things that they do to break the leaves and process and get the paste out, because they even put ethanol in it.
Okay.
So then, that's what I do when my stomach feels funny. I have to drink Coke. Like it would ask for Coke,
mm-hmm.
and it will settle down. So I grew up, and like I said, I was always sick. My stomach, I was always in the hospital. I had with stomach infections, skin infections. Like if a mosquito bit me and I had a blood for them, it turned into a whole infection thing.
So it's kind of like you already had autoimmune issues. Your immune system you were having issues with them.
It was, yes. If I cut myself up, back then I was not diabetic. I'm like a diabetic. They said something about bounding or something with it doesn't bound, or I don't know. I don't even want to ask anymore, Brian.
Yeah, I get it.
Basically, something doesn't bound and it affects me. So if I cut myself, it takes me like a whole 2 weeks just to, like to get better.
To
And I
heal.
have
Okay.
to keep, yeah, and I have to constantly keep removing the scab because it doesn't heal inside.
Okay. Okay.
So it will heal like on top, but I'm constantly have to remove like the scabs to get the infection out.
Mm-hmm.
And my go-to thing is peroxide.
Okay.
That's my cure for that. So everything I did, even when I had Jonathan, I had a C-section and it was getting infected. So it's like I can't touch myself.
Yeah.
Because it just turns into, I mean, like a little scratch. You have to see the scar that I have left. It's like, somebody did something to me.
Wow.
So I got used to that because that was my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was.
You didn't know normal, so you were just dealing with it.
I didn't know normal.
Yeah.
My stomach has always felt like you have a bad hangover. But those hangovers that you drink everything that's in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that hangover lasts for a day or so, and then you feel better. But you never really feel better.
No, it's constant. The
Yeah.
day that I wake up and my stomach, I don't feel anything in my stomach. I'm like, am I alive?
Yeah.
Because it's always bothering me. So, then when I was like in middle school, like I think it was like 8th grade, I just couldn't do gym. I just couldn't do it. So my mother's friend took me to a course. What was it called? I'm sorry, Brian. I still forget names and words and stuff like that.
No,
but I call it.
Yeah. No,
the doctor, the rheumatologist. Okay.
Oh yeah,
rheumatologist.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
And he said she has
juvenile
arthritis. Because all my joints will get like swollen and everything. So I always fell. My balance was really bad. And if you see me walking, I can never walk in a straight line. I'm always going to the side.
And it was like this before MS. You were having issues, 20.
Oh yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Because I didn't feel my left side.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was dragging my foot, but I could see that. If you see the heel of my shoes, they were all damaged, especially the left side.
Yeah.
The right side, I put it in. My foot goes in.
Yeah.
And I wear special, like the special shoes that use orthopedic shoes like back then.
Yep.
It didn't fix it. It's something that my foot does or whatever.
So when you were going through this in your younger years, like in your 20s and 30s, and you were going to doctors, none of these doctors ever mentioned.
No, I never went to doctors. I really only went to doctors when shit hit the fan.
Okay.
Basically.
So you were just kind of.
That's what I tell you.
Okay. All right. So you were just ignoring
that's
stuff.
That's my fault because I never told them the whole story. I only went for the symptoms that I was feeling that day or whatever. I never told them, look, I have felt this, and that. And I think that was on me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, then I remember when I was in college, I just didn't feel good at all. And I ended up I waited like 4 years. Oh no, I started working out because you know how the girlfriends, we have to work out. And back then they have the aerobics and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then they had a gym there. And every time I went to the gym, you know how they take your pressure, and then they always kept telling me, your blood pressure is high. Your blood pressure is high. It never went lower than 90.
Wow.
The bottom one, because with blood pressure, I don't know if you know this, you have the high and the low.
Right.
If the high one is high, it's basically emotional, because you got upset, because you got mad or whatever. But if your lower one is high, that means there's something physically wrong with you.
Okay.
So that's the one that you have to watch for.
Okay. And your blood pressure was high, pretty consistent.
My blood pressure, the highest that my blood pressure has gone, and this was when I was giving birth to Jonathan. It was 200 over 115.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow.
I told you, I think I really died in my mom's stomach. And I've been close. And that was the day I was close because when I had him, I developed a clot and it was a mess. Like, I had a great pregnancy, but by the time when he was going to be born, it was a mess. Yeah. So, like I said, all my life, and I was like, people say, you're so lazy because I'm like, I'm taking rest. I could not be in the sun.
Yeah.
My friends used to make fun of me, say like, you from a hot country and you like, you think like you're white or something. I say, I cannot be in the sun because I feel like I'm dying.
Yeah. Oh.
So, like just those little things, little things here and there.
Yeah.
Then, they put me on the medication for high blood pressure because the doctor, he was a great, amazing doctor. He looked at my eye and I didn't know that when you have high blood pressure for a long time, like you're like critical.
Mm-hmm.
It damaged the cornea of your eyes.
Okay.
Like there's something in your cornea of your eyes that they check and they can tell when that you have had, like are you hypertense? And he goes, you're hypertense. I'm not gonna even try anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go on medication.
Yeah.
So can you imagine a 20-year-old medication?
Yeah.
I was good though. Other thing that I had a lot of issues with my hormones.
Okay.
I developed endometriosis, and now I know because of the estrogen. It's just a lot of stuff that now I understand that I was going through this. But back then it's like, well, my body's like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. You were just ignoring it and keep on pushing and keep on living life.
Pushing and pushing and pushing. I have worked all my life.
Yeah.
So,
So when did it get to the point where you knew, okay, wait a minute, man, there's really something wrong and,
Well, when I started menopause, and I blame it on the menopause.
Okay.
And I kept telling everybody, how you have memories on your Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
I go back years and I'm always like, oh shit, I feel like this. Oh shit, I feel like that. Like you never realize it, but it's like, I'm like, my whole body hurts. And I'm very, like, I used to call myself a klutz because I really, I don't know. I in air, like when your feet just do something.
Yeah.
And you're on the floor.
Yeah.
I was always on the floor.
Yeah.
I fell a lot.
Yeah.
So from there, like I said, well, it's menopause and all that stuff, but I just get feeling more tired and more tired and more tired and more tired. And the summers for me were horrible.
Okay.
So, but shit hit the fan when I had COVID. The 5 times that I got it, that's when shit hit the fan. That I really think I'm dying. This is it. This is it.
I hear so many people that have been diagnosed during COVID that I've been talking to, and I don't know. It just seems like that when people got that sick or from COVID, it just brought out a lot of MS in people that might have been sitting dormant
because he attacks your immune system.
Yeah. Wow. So
it's the same thing, Brian. When you guys see, this is the thing. People with MS, and I hear a lot say, oh, I'm going to the gym and stuff like that. And then they come back and say, oh my God, everything hurts. And then the next day they can't go. We cannot do regular exercises. Our exercises that we have to do are stretches. Stretch. And build your core.
Stretching. Oh yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with core. And stretching is so important, because you got to keep as much flexibility in your
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally agree
If
with you.
you if you do like I know certain people that oh no everything hurts and they lay on bed and stuff like that, you won't be able to get out of that bed because there are days that I'm down. Like I literally cannot get out of the bed.
Yeah.
And I've been like that. This happened like a month ago here,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't get up for 3 days. I could not get up. When I tried to get up, my legs, holy crap.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like, I'm not going to be able to walk.
Yeah.
But I do my stretches every time. Like if I feel stiff, I also do the massages, like the pressure ones.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
Oh yeah.
Because what happened is when you are tight, see, I have tore ligaments,
Mm-hmm.
tendons,
Mm-hmm.
muscles just by stepping the wrong way. My muscles get that tight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can hear them snapping. Like you could hear the snap, like boom.
Yeah.
So I keep doing that. I kept doing that to my legs, and I'm like, oh, and I kept telling my friends, man, if I had like a nice story saying, I went parachuting and I went and I thought, but I'm just stepping the wrong way or walking the wrong way. So finally, when I was diagnosed,
Mm-hmm.
I found they told me that I had to go, definitely had to go to physical therapy. Like, damn. So I found, I think this, like I said, my faith comes in this. And I told God, God, you're going to have to do something because I can't do it. I can't even think.
Yeah.
So I got a therapy. It was called holistic manual therapy. That was my salvation.
Okay.
This man taught me how, like, I went in the first day and he said, I have never seen a body so tight in my life. Brian, I walked out of that place an hour after and I felt different.
Wow.
Just by him doing that. And, so I really got into it because I started feeling better and better and better. And I was really doing good. But the asshole, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
The
You're
the
fine.
guy, the first neurologist that I told you,
Yeah.
put me on Symposia because I went there and I rubbed that. Oh my God. When I had those results, I told the doctor, give it to me. I went to his office and I told the receptionist, can you call him here? Oh, but I said, no, I want him here because the room was full of patients.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, I came to you. You told me that everything that I had was mental. Here's your mental. I have MS, I have ischemia, and I have thrombosis.
Wow. What was his response
So
to
you
that?
tell him, oh, but you came and said, no, I told you my left side, I haven't felt in 3 years, and you did MRI in all my body except my head. I was so pissed, and everybody was applauding when I left. I get like that.
Yeah. You know what though? You know what? If you don't advocate for yourself, nobody's going to advocate for you. So
Yes, and
that's
I told him, I said, you should go back because I think they gave you that degree for free.
yeah, right.
And another advice that I'm giving you, stop being so arrogant.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you go through the pains that we go through, you wouldn't be that arrogant. You need to learn better manners.
Yeah.
You need to have empathy.
Yeah. There are definitely some neurologists that are very like they have no personality and they don't know how to communicate with their patient
I think they're very arrogant because there's so many few, so they feel that they're it, and you have to wait for 8 months or whatever to get to them.
yeah.
So I went back to my doctor, my general doctor, because he put me on Symposia,
Mm-hmm.
Symposia or something like that. One thing that I have, Brian, and I think I learned to listen to my body or something, but my body, if something is not going to agree with it, is automatically. You know how they
Oh,
say,
yeah.
oh, no, you have to wait like 7 days or whatever. Mm-mm.
No.
If it's going to work, it works the first day. If it doesn't work, my body was giving me alerts, red flashes, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
The suppository made it worse because it gave me convulsions
Mm.
and seizures.
Mm.
I could convulse 15 times in a period of half hour.
Oh my God. So how long were you on that? Or was it
I
like
stopped taking it.
you it was like a one pill done? I'm done with it.
No, I took it for 2 months.
Oh my God. You
And I was feeling, because when I went to see him, he told me, well, at first you're going to feel side effects until your body gets used to it. And my body was not getting used to it. My body was just getting worse. And my head, I couldn't think, the headaches, because I get 5 different kind of headaches. So I take 5 different medication for each headache.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Because I have neuralgia, which the neuralgia, what it does is you feel like somebody's knocking, but it's in your head, constantly knocking. Or like the wind, when it's the wind that you feel like that constantly. It drives you nuts.
Yeah.
Then I have, because I have my worst lesion is my frontal lobe, because I have a big lesion there and I have a tumor there. I mean, it was a hemangioma, but it calcified, so it turned into a tumor. So I'm active 24/7 with that one, and one that I have between the hemisphere, with the hemisphere like attached. So I'm active 24/7. That's why they say that I'm PPMS. I don't get a break.
You don't get a break.
So, so I went to my general doctor. I said, Doc, I'm dying. He stopped every single medication that I was taking. And he said, we're going to introduce them a little by a time. So the first thing that I had to go back was to the high blood pressure, because I have lesions for the MS. I have lesion of the ischemia strokes that I have had. I have scars from the thrombosis. I have scars because of the diabetes. I have scar because of the high blood pressure.
So let me ask you this, Lil. You said that he took you off all your meds. Did he take them off?
Everything.
But did he cut them off on you cold turkey, or did he wean you off of them?
Cold turkey. He goes, your body is rejecting everything. Because before, in my urine test, it was just like a little blood. Like like he said, oh, some women are like that. But the last test, it was bad. My creatine was like up in the 10 or something like that. It was bad. When I went to the bathroom, it was foamy, like, beer. And that's when you have problems with your kidneys.
Jeez. So how are they treating that now?
Okay, so my general doctor said, he goes, why don't you do something? Because I said, I don't want anything. If you can't treat it, I'm going to die. And he goes, no. Because he saw me and he goes, if somebody can survive this, it's you. Because the day he told me you have MS, I said, okay, so what do we do now? And he goes, I told you have MS. Do you know what it is? I said, I know exactly what it is because my cousin has it. So I'm telling you, what do we do now?
Yeah.
But the Seposia destroyed my body. It was just, I couldn't even stand. I lost my balance. I had zero balance. I was always shaking. If I was standing up, I had to rock like back or to the sides because otherwise I would fall. I forgot to talk.
Wow.
I couldn't spell.
Wow.
When I went to the hospital, I didn't even remember my last name.
Oh my gosh.
Because I woke up the day because I work from home and I wasn't feeling good. Basically at the end, I was just going from my bed to my desk and back again. And I woke up that day, my head, oh my God, Brian, my head. It was just horrible. I couldn't even move it. And I went and I turned the computer on and I saw numbers and I saw letters and I had no idea what it were.
Wow.
So when I went there, I was in the emergency room like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and they put me right in. And they put me on the, and they put me automatically on the, I can't pronounce that word. Whatever, no, that's steroids. That's the thing, I have problems pronouncing.
Solumedrol.
Yes.
They put you on Solumedrol steroid.
1,000 milliliters.
Right.
And I have never taken steroids in my life.
Yeah.
I thought I was going crazy. I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
It was just horrible. It was the most horrible experience of my life, being sick. And I've been sick.
Yeah, it's not those Solumedrol is not a fun treatment. I've had it. I've had it so many times. It's kind of. I mean, it doesn't even faze me now. But yeah, it gives you that metallic taste in your mouth, and
and
you can't sleep. I know. I rely.
And they say you're supposed to feel better, and I mean, I felt a little bit better, but it wasn't the amount that they said I'm supposed to feel. And the problem was, and when I went to my general doctor, he goes, "No, go to the MS Center in Teaneck, New Jersey, which is one of the best ones on the East Coast."
Okay.
And God bless me, I found the best doctor. Her name is Dr. Wallach. Very empathetic. I mean, she will sit with you for an hour and a half and explain to you everything like in plain English.
Awesome. It's so much better when you have a good doctor like that, isn't it?
Oh, my God. And she told me, the Zeposia messed you up bad.
Yeah.
Brian, instead of getting better, I was a day that because my husband didn't believe. He said, "I don't understand. Every time you get upset, you start showing symptoms." I'm like, "Hello, it's your heart drive that is messed up. So if you get me excited, of course I can't think."
Right.
So there was a day that I tried to get up from the bed and I couldn't. I had to crawl to the bathroom because I was alone in the house. And I sat there and I said, "God, I can't. This is not a life."
Yeah.
And the only light in my life was my best friend that, holy shit, I don't know what I would do without her. Like, we knew each other, but it was more like hello kind of thing. But as soon as she found out, she moved there because around where I live, because her mom passed away. Like in the same house, because like the garden apartments that everything is so close.
Yeah.
And she saw me one day and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" Because I was yellow. I turned like different colors. Like sometimes I was grayish, sometimes I was yellow. I mean, it's just so. She said, "I'm gonna get you better," and she became my shadow. He was the one that went every time that I had a flare up because it was so hot during the summer. I dehydrated just sitting at home in the air conditioner. And the person that went with me to the hospital emergency room, it was her every time. 12 hours she was there with me. That's awesome my friends she's my sister and my roommate, because we were friends already. And he told me, "You can't give up. You can't give up." And then during that time, because when I joined my MS team that I was banned from for life, that night that I signed on, I was really having bad thoughts. I was really planning to really kill myself, but in a way that it showed like an accident or natural causes, so my son could get them. I mean, I don't know, like you think about stupid things, you know.
I know. Yep. And that's
so I was and
no, I was going to say, no, I'm sorry, Lily. I was just going to tell you that it's not an abnormal feeling having this disease. I know I've had it quite a few times. That It's not an abnormal feeling. Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah. And you can't control your feelings. I didn't know that. I really thought I was going crazy because like one moment you're happy, the next day you're sad. And sometimes I was really happy and I was crying. I'm like, why am I doing? I was so confused. So I started really doing research. I'm like, I'm going crazy. Like I said, when that night I went in and there were 3 people in the chat, it was Jerry, Steve, and Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
And they saved my life, Brian. They gave me the information that I needed. They said, you know what is normal? Like they made me feel normal.
Yeah.
And I started introducing what I'm doing with my MS team. I mean, with MS Rebels over there because it's so depressing. I mean, people, I'm sorry to say this. I understand there's a lot of people with like RRMS that maybe have worse systems, stuff like that. But a lot of times, because I've seen it, people let themselves go.
Yeah.
And like the pigs, they like to wallow in that mud.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want to get out of that mud.
Yeah.
And it's like always thinking about the person they were before, what they used to do before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hello, you're getting old.
Yep.
You're not changing because you just got a diagnosed. You had this shit for a long time.
Yep.
Because trust me, even if you're diagnosed like within at least most of the people had this thing for 6, 7, 10 years before you even diagnosed.
A lot of
presenting.
Yeah.
You present symptoms early.
Yeah, I've told this story a couple of times, but when I was, I played at Michigan, and when I graduated, I was 22 years old. So I got in a car accident, and I was around 23, and I had to get an MRI at that car accident, after the car accident, and I had a doctor come in and say, hey, your head's okay, no concussion or anything, but you might want to follow up with you might want to follow up with a neurologist because there's some activity on your brain that could resemble MS. And I just ignored it when I was 22 years old, because I felt fine. Ugh. I felt fine.
Mm-hmm.
But so, I probably had it before I was 27. I just never knew it.
Yes, for a long time. One of the things that I want to clarify, because people are very mistaken about the DMTs, like the infusions. First of all, they call it infusions because you only get it twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to camouflage or whatever. MS patients, we have different type of cells for our immune system, but the most important ones are the T and the B cells.
Right.
Those are the ones that basically run your body.
Right.
When you have cancer, your T cells usually show high.
Okay.
And your B cells.
Mm-hmm.
MS patients, for some unknown reason, our B cells are affected.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? They go up. When they go up, they cause inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
So the DMT, what it's doing is taking that inflammation away and trying to slow down the lesions or whatever,
right.
But it doesn't take away the symptoms.
Right. Yep.
And that's what people go with the hope when they get the DMT, and then that's what you hear, I'm on Mocrevos, I'm on this, that, but I still feel the same. Sorry, guys, it doesn't take away from this. To me, personally, and I'm not saying it's the same thing.
Yeah.
When you say you have to kill something, and looking at all the side effects of these infusions,
mm-hmm.
To me, they're chemo.
It is chemo.
That's what it is.
Yeah. When I used to get Tysabri, I went for the infusion. I've talked to my neurologist all the time. It's considered a chemotherapy because I remember asking him. I remember him asking him back then because I seen it on one of my billing things, and I'm like, "Hey doc, why does this say chemotherapy? Isn't that cancer?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "It's chemotherapy because we're wiping out your immune system or affecting."
Exactly.
I'm like, okay.
And people would fight with me, and people in the group who argue with me, and I'm showing them.
Yeah.
And they say, no, it's not chemo. And I say, okay, believe what you want to believe. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the DMTs are not going to take your symptoms away.
No, they're not. I mean, that's the only thing, I've been doing this since 1997, and there were 3 DMTs on the market at that time, and now there's 25, and they all do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
None of them cure it, and all they do is slow it down.
The only reason you feel good after taking the Ocrevus is because they give you that word.
The steroid. Yeah.
You pronounce the word for me, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
And then you feel the shot of energy. I mean, you have to see me. That's the thing. I take everything like the fun side.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the infusions and I bring a picnic with my friend. We bring sandwiches. We bring popcorn.
You have a party, yeah, right? You have an infusion.
We have a party there. We have a party.
All the infusions that I've ever had, and I've had quite a few of them, I always go into those infusion centers and I just try talking to people, whatever some of them might be in there for MS. I've talked to people that were in there getting infusions for migraines. It was just interesting to me just to talk to people, just hearing their story.
And it's so funny because when how you have to go like 2 days or 3 days, I don't know how, like afterwards to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had to. So I went there, and the nurse that was there with my infusion, the doctor was saying, I cannot believe how you looking. She goes, you like a totally different person. And the nurse goes, you have to see the party that she had back there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome.
So when you relax, your body absorbs things better. Remember when they tell you that you shouldn't eat like sitting up because you get indigestion?
Right.
It's the same thing. When you get a shot or whatever, you have to be relaxed so the body absorbs it.
Tell me your salt trick. When you put salt on your tongue.
Oh, yeah. One of the things, like I said, I have read a lot. I follow what the doctor says because I know that natural medication is not going to help me with what I have.
Right.
So if I miss one pill for the neuralgia, I get the headache automatically.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's certain things, especially the stuff that they give you for your head, because it's all like, I don't know, for seizures and all that stuff. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do, I notice that I'm like a car. And I learned this when I had diabetes, when I was diagnosed with diabetes, that we need to eat. Like if I'm doing errands, I need to eat because I'm running out. Same thing with MS. So what I do in the morning, I found out that because I'm not active in the morning, I would eat like an oatmeal. Oatmeal like fills you up and it stays in the stomach for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I do oatmeal and I do a Coke because Cokes wake you up. I mean, you can do caffeine like coffee,
Right.
but I don't drink coffee.
Right.
So when I'm doing things and I'm like, no, I can't stop because, hey, hello, body, we have to finish. I will put salt underneath my tongue and it gives you a shot of energy like you won't believe.
Yeah. Yeah, you were telling me that the other day, and I'm like, man, I got to try that. That's just it.
Try it and tell me.
I'm going to.
Try it and tell me.
I am going to. Hey, Lily, I want you I want you to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I want you to talk about the Facebook page group that you started, because I mean, that's how I met you, and
Yes.
I just want to tell this story because I'm new to social media. I haven't had a social media account in my life up until a year ago, but I got on a Facebook page, and I started. I'm like, oh man, there's MS. I'm like, I got in that group, and then I put out something about my podcast, and I got kicked out, and I'm sitting there like, why am I getting kicked out? And then I find out you're not allowed to advertise. And I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, they're not allowed to do anything.
So yeah,
and you know what? I don't allow to advertise false information like miracle cures and stuff like that, but it's something that's going to help us.
Yeah.
And I think you see, Brian, that I post stuff from my MS team, from the multiple, whatever can help us.
Yeah,
Why deny? Because
that's what I'm saying. That's because I'm new to social media, so I'm just sitting here. Okay, I'm 27 years, experience with this disease. I'd like to help people that are just starting out and that are scared and all that. And I'm just like, hey,
the problem with those groups is that they usually associated with the multiple sclerosis or whatever, so they back them up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm? So that's why I'm not associated with anybody. I'm a free agent.
I love your group because I mean, there's so many everybody that I've talked to in there or talked back and forth with, they're just so nice, and everybody in there is just MS, and you don't get any stupid comments, and
yes, you do, Brian.
Well,
I just kick them out.
Yeah, you kick them out because you're the administrator, so you have all the say in the world on who gets in and who's out. But I just love the group.
Actually,
so tell me.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to tell a story.
Yeah. So talk about what you started it out with and what it's at now.
It's April 29th. I started the group.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was, like I said, I signed up to my MS team, and I met these guys, but I saw, Brian, everything was, this hurts, I hate MS, I wish I was like before. So one of the things that I tell people, I cannot tell you about the medical stuff because this is new to me, but I can tell you how I have survived.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you a little bit of my background. I was abused as a child. My mother started hitting me since I think I was like 3 or 4 until I was older.
Yeah.
The last time my mother raised her hand at me was when I was 22 because I hit her back. Because I told her, you hit me again and I'm going to hit you back.
Yeah.
Because you have to respect me as the adult that I am. And if I would have been disrespectful to her, I would understand. But she didn't like how I did my hair that day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, when, like I said, child abuse, then my only savior or the only person that I was close to was my grandmother. Mm-hmm. My mother decided to come to the United States. They separate me from my grandmother. That was the biggest hurt that I ever had.
I couldn't
my
imagine.
Yeah, and my relationship with my mother, with my grandmother, even though it wasn't her fault, I built walls. Like I built walls. And people say that I have alligator skin. Yes, I do. You've care less.
You've been through so many wars, man. I mean, that's why you have alligator skin.
Yeah.
I mean, just from talking to you, I mean, even you had a 30-year marriage that ended
36.
because of that. 36-year marriage that ended because of them.
36 years old. I met my husband when I was 21 years old.
Yeah. And
so I go to college, and at 19, I get raped. My first time. I was a virgin. I was saving myself for a special occasion, and that was a special occasion. But you know what? My grandmother always taught me, even in the dark times with my mom, because my grandmother got hit a lot of times just trying to defend me. And because one day I asked her, Grandma, why does she hate me? Why does she hate me so much? And she told me because her soul and her heart are sick. And I never forget those words. She told me, if your soul and your heart are sick, you're going to get physically sick and you won't be able to heal until you heal your soul and your heart. And I think she saved my soul and my heart. Because after all the abuse, after the rape and everything, I still have a good heart. Because in those dark moments, God put really good people. The day I was raped, a biker found me. Mm-hmm. And at first I was scared. I mean, a biker, but he took me to the clinic. He made sure, because I was 19, to be there for me, to take care of me until I graduated.
Wow.
So those are the things that I remember. I read a story that says the two friends that were walking in the desert, and one, they started fighting, and one hits the other one. So the one that got hit right on the sand, my best friend hit me today. They were walking again, and the one that was hit was drowning, and his friend saved him. And he wrote on a stone, "My best friend saved my life." And his friend asked him, "Why do you write what I did to you in sand?" And the other in stone, he goes, "Because the bad things, you write them in sand so the wind takes them away. And the good things you always remember for life."
Wow. That's great. Hey, I love
So
that. I love that, Lily.
yes, I read a lot. I am an avid reader. I can read 4 books a week. So I try to introduce what I'm doing in the MS team to the group,
Mm-hmm.
and the holy born again Christians. I don't want to and against anybody, but the holiest of the holiest, they call me the Antichrist and all that stuff. I was helping people, and they didn't like that. I'm saying I took over the ownership of that chat because they were looking for me, and remember, that chat is backed up, because I did the research, it's backed up by a pharmaceutical company. So a pharmaceutical company is not going to like me going there and say, "No, you can be happy, you can do this, and you can get better."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you get depressed, they give you a pill. If you do this, they give you a pill.
Yeah.
So they're bad. I mean, it was bad. I don't know if I told you, I have a sixth sense. I can see, I can hear dead people. I can't help them cross.
Wow.
I can see things. And it's because the way it was explained to me by somebody that is into the metaphysics and all that stuff is, I have crossed or died a few times. And every time you do, that you cross over, you bring a gift.
Okay. Wow.
So he calls me a seer because I have different things. I can see auras. Uh, I can feel your feelings. Like if I get very attached to you, I can feel when you're getting sick or everything. I can see people when they're gonna die. It's bad. I never accepted that. It was really hard for me to accept because it scared me.
Mm.
But I had to put myself together and make myself whole. And when you make yourself whole, you have to bring everything that you're hiding because you're afraid, confront them and say, "Okay, I'm not scared anymore."
You're
And
such a strong woman, Liliana. I just say, just hearing your story and just to hear how positive you are after all you've been through. And, I talked to you a few times and you're always like joking around and trying to crack a joke.
yes,
It's, and I love
that's
that.
what people didn't. Yeah, that's what people didn't believe me because I'm always. She's like, because I'm always making people laugh.
Yeah.
Like for example, this girl told me, "Oh, my body's so stiff," and I said, "Babe, don't." In the group today, I said, "Don't even say." I feel like somebody exhumed me from the tombs of Egypt.
Yeah. So,
So
if anybody that's listening, if they want to join your Facebook group, what should they search for?
my MS team, and okay, listen to me. Uh, MS. What did I put in? Jesus, see, Brian, I'm not doing
Oh,
okay.
that's all right. It's an MS moment.
It's multiple sclerosis rebels. That's what it is,
That's
and it's RMS at the end. I mean, it's the group. I created. Okay, this is the way I created. So they bad me because what the I lost my two friends, Steve and Bobby. They were sick. It's a consequence of the MS.
mm-hmm.
Steve had cancer, and he got like prostate cancer. You know that can be no. He ate him up
Yeah.
in months,
Yeah.
in like few months.
Yeah.
And Bobby was like you. He was like 6'5". He was a weightlifter. And when he died, Bobby was like 6'5" too. When he died, he was 170 pounds
Oh, wow.
because he contracted a disease that he lost his muscles,
Okay.
including his heart
Oh, wow.
and his lungs. And what really made me sad was that he died worried because he was losing his house
Mm.
because he couldn't afford to pay it. And I remember like every time we used to meet at 12 midnight, it was coffee time, the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, Lil, I have never laughed so much like I have laughed these 3 months since I met you. You have changed my life. I look forward in the morning, waking up and reading. Oh, I was like, what shit is she coming up with now? So I'm happy that I made him happy.
Yeah.
And Steve helped me. Steve was a writer, a very good writer, and he was a psychiatrist too. And he helped me a lot. And he goes, I said, Steve, do you think I'm crazy? And she goes, Lil, you live life to the fullness. Whoever thinks that you're crazy, they're crazy themselves.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
anything that happens in my life, even the negative things, I'm like, it happened for a reason. And I see the reason. And I always have a learning experience for everything that happens in my life. So I think that's very positive.
Yeah, I mean,
So
when we were talking the other day, I mean, you actually just blew me away when you said, Brian, me getting diagnosed actually freed me from my marriage and my
yes,
husband, and I was just like, oh my God,
he fed me.
I've never heard anybody put the spin on MS getting them out of a marriage. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and I'm going to tell you why I said that. So the day I was banned was because I couldn't control my sight, and I was in the group, and I felt Bobby dying, and I helped him cross over, and I think I wrote all that, and I guess people got scared, and I got banned for life.
mhm,
So I created a group in the Messenger with some of the people that came with me because they're like, come on, like you were great or whatever.
yeah,
And I called it the MS Exiles.
okay, the MS
So,
Exiles,
and the MS Exiles.
okay,
So one day I always tell people that a lot of people ask me, what does this have to do with MS? When I put stuff or what's going on in the atmosphere, like the solar
yeah,
storms, like,
yeah,
the lining of the planet,
mhm,
when we have fires, why? Because all of us are energy.
mhm,
Anything that is breathed in this world, even like static things have energy. Remember when you shower your feet in on the carpet and then you touch something, it's energy.
right, right,
That energy affects people. When there's a full moon, it's like, oh, full moon, people are going crazy.
yeah, right,
For us, it's worse because our nerves are exposed. So we are like a lightning rod. I don't know if you remember a movie Powder about the kid, like he's really white
yeah, I do,
and
I
he
remember that,
attracted like
yeah.
eh, that's us. So I put in the shot in the chat a picture of people getting hit by lightning and how like the patterns that they left. Brian, that's us.
Yeah.
The the hug, and people were like, "Oh my God, the back."
Hmm.
So I said, we need to be, and I told them, prepare yourself for January because there's a lot of shit going on. All of us were sick. All of us were saying, oh my God, I feel this, I feel that. So we need to keep track of that too, because everything is not MS.
All right.
So that day we had a solar storm and we were in the chat, and most of them left. And it was only this guy, Eric, and I. And Eric said, can I call you? I said, sure, let's talk. And we were, because I can't sleep. I have something called hypomania,
Mm-hmm.
which basically is cousins with uh, bipolarism. So, but my hypomania is that I can't sleep. I don't sleep for 24 hours for 3 or 4 days. And you see me like this laughing, like I'm not sleepy. and then I crash for 2 days and I don't wake up.
Oh, wow.
So so what I don't have is the mania, the mania that the bipolar. I don't have that because I'm always happy. So I can't sleep. So we couldn't sleep and I was hurting and I kept asking them, do you think I can cut my toes and still walk?
Mm-hmm.
Because my toes are so bad.
Yeah.
So Eric was saying, it's not fair how they kick you out. And we were smoking and I was stoned because usually weed doesn't affect me because of all the stuff that I have in my head. But weed does for me, it calms my nerves down. That's what I feel like. When your head is like shooting, and then I smoke and it's just like silence.
I smoke too, and I used to get scripts for Xanax, and I won't touch Xanax because to me I'd rather
It's
smoke.
very addictive.
Yeah,
all that stuff, chlorazepam or whatever.
Yeah.
All that stuff is very addictive, and I think we have enough shit in our lives to worry about on top of an addiction. So,
right.
So I found the right combination of weed. In New Jersey is legal. So it's a combination. I don't think it's mushroom. They call it like a combination between weed and mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I take the indica with the mushroom. I cannot touch the sativa because Speedy Gonzalez is nothing. I get very hyper.
Yeah.
I cannot take like Benadryl because instead of making me sleep, it makes me more hyper. Like I'm like the reverse of everybody.
Yeah.
So, but that day I was hurting so bad that I smoked more and I was stoned. That was the first time I got stoned.
Okay.
And he was going. I said a bunch of people asked, and he's like, but Lil, like, because they were trying for me to come back. And I said, no, because I don't want to be in a place that nobody wants me.
Right. Yeah, right.
And he's like, I said, fuck it. I'm going to do my own group. And at that time, 3:00 in the morning, never forget, 3:00 in the morning, the multiple sclerosis rebels were born.
That is so awesome.
The reason I chose the butterfly, like that type of butterfly that is more like, I don't know, like a biker kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was in honor of Bobby because he was a biker.
Okay.
And in honor of my big guy that saved me when I was 19. A lot of people have a really wrong impression of bikers, and they're the most amazing, empathetic people that I have ever met.
I agree with you there too. I know a lot of guys that are bikers, and they're most every one of them are pretty good guys to me.
My biker was in Vietnam, and Northam, and I'm like that. I'm like, I'm a gangster kind of thing, hoodie kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'm a little girly, but then, I get the hood side when they rattle me up.
You're feisty.
And that's why
I can tell you're feisty.
If you see the ribbon, it says little brother and Bobby Bass, because those are the nicknames that I gave them.
Yeah, I've seen that. I love that.
And and they're the reason I created the group, because they made me promise that I was going to be out there. He said, if somebody's going to put us out there, it will be you, because you have no filter. You are like, let me go, because it's not fair. It's not fair that Bobby had to lose his house. Yeah. Not fair how much we have to pay medicine. I mean, $100,000 for a fucking infusion.
I know it. It's ridiculous. And then once you get hooked on a DMT, you can't get off one, because
that's it.
Yeah, you're done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy. So you start this Facebook group, and and how many months and how many followers do you have now?
No, hold on a second, Brian. I'm like you. The only reason I had a Facebook was to post things about my baby. He did all his good stuff.
Yeah, I never had a Facebook account until about a month ago.
But this is all I use to put stuff to just to look at things, to laugh and stuff like that. That's the only thing I did in Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let me read this. So I started doing research how to set up a page, and I did it.
Yeah.
And I said, and then Eric was like, but do you know a lot of people? I said, I don't know a lot of people, but I want to do my own page. He says 50 people. I don't care. I'm going to do my page. And I told them, when I left the group, I said, you're going to see me, you're going to hear my name of this because of the stuff that you rejected, and it's making people better. So on April 29, we created a group, and all of a sudden that group started growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. I had a set of admins that were not that good. Eric was just stone. Like, he was a pothead. It wasn't even for medicine. It was a pothead, to a point that Eric smoked, I think it was like an ounce in 2 weeks.
Wow, that's a lot of weed.
That's a lot of weed.
Yeah.
So every time that I needed coverage because I was sick or I was down or whatever, I didn't have anybody because they were stoned, or they would tell me that they would go, but they fell asleep. And I'm like, and there was a lot of problems with the group, and I started getting rid of everybody. You don't want to be here? There's the door.
Yeah.
They also started giving ultimatums, and nobody gives me ultimatums.
Right.
And one of the ultimatums was, when the group opened, it was public, because I said, well, I need to be public so people can see it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ladies there wanted me to make it private. I said, I'll go private when the group grows.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't like that or whatever. Then Eric got upset because he wanted to make people moderators instead of admins. And I said, no. In my group, everybody's equal.
Yeah.
So I had, but you know what? It was a blessing in disguise, because the admins that I have now, they're words that mean.
I'm pretty new to the group, but I mean, the admins that I've talked to, and they just seem awesome. I mean, everybody is just,
they're awesome, but we take the shit down right away. So the goal of the group, what was the goal of the group? I wanted to be a village. Why a village? Because when I was little, I didn't know that I was meditating, because as part of meditation, when I was in pain, I used to go into my imaginary world, which is what the group is all about. Remember, I said that in this group here, we can be anybody, or you know how I do parties that we go to Turkey and I don't know, Bahamas or whatever, and we have fun.
Yeah.
And we having fun. I'm putting pictures, you're getting to know the site.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah. And the real cool thing is she's got different rooms that you can go into. Like she's got men only rooms. She's got women only rooms. She's got a rant room. She's got a suggestion room.
Yes.
And if you put something in a room, there's always an admin in the room, so there's always somebody there monitoring it. It's just it's a good site.
Yes, that was the goal. I wanted, first of all, my site. We don't sell things, we don't advertise things. The only thing that we advertise is things that we have tried and have worked for us. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't allow politics because we are peaceful. See, I wanted to create a heaven like I had it when I was little. That was my heaven. Like I stayed there, and with music, because my grandmother was always playing music. That's what music has to be in my life, and dancing and colors and everything. Mm-hmm. So that's what I introduced to this group. But basically, in order to keep the group safe, we have to be very choosy. So we should be like at least 25,000 now, but we reject people that we go back and we only see like 2 or 3 pictures or no pictures or something like that, we do not accept those people.
Yeah.
Or if we go to their profile and we see that they're political fanatics or religious fanatics, we do not accept them. Because in my group, I said we have faith. Religions divide people. Faith unite people.
Agreed.
That's it.
Agreed.
So, and the goal was, I want at least one of us to be there to integrate with the group.
Yeah.
Because I've seen groups like that people create and then they don't participate. They don't engage with the people. So why do you create a group for?
Yeah. Right. And like,
so the engagement was really good. And if you see, I always said that the village is like a newspaper, like the Sunday newspaper. You can find anything in this. Remember the Sunday newspaper that you used to wait? The Sunday newspaper, the comics, this, and everything was in the Sunday newspaper.
Right.
That's what the group is all about.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I think it's really good. And I think it's good that you kind of vet everybody. And yeah, because I mean, I don't want to be in a group where somebody's always ranting about politics, because I've always told people.
Oh my God.
I've always told people MS doesn't give a shit if you're a Republican or a Democrat.
Exactly.
And MS doesn't give a shit if you're white, black, Hispanic, or whatever you are.
Exactly.
MS doesn't care. So I don't want to talk about anything outside of MS.
Exactly. So I call it MS because that's what I have. But my group is open to anyone. I want it to open to anyone because I want to teach people what MS is all about.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I hate, Brian, I look fabulous. I do.
You always
Even my roommate. Yeah, my roommate says, Liliana, if I see you on the streets and somebody tells me she is PPMS, I wouldn't believe it. Because I wouldn't believe it because you just don't look sick. So I opened the group for that too, because of the hell that I went with my, not only my husband, my son too.
Yeah.
I felt alone. They didn't understand. I felt like, I don't know. No. It was just horrible. So I wanted to teach people what an MS person goes through every day. So I opened, my group is my journal.
Amen.
What I go through every day is my changes in, I get sad, I get mad. Well, I get mad because they're out of my cage, but just like that, I put when I'm good, when I'm bad. I mean, no, I don't edit anything. It's as is.
Yeah.
My goal is for people when they hear the word MS, it's like you saying heart attack or breast cancer.
Right. Yeah. Something that people actually understand. Yeah. Something that people actually understand.
I hate explaining because, see, when they ask you, what do you have? And you say MS, then you have to go through the whole story. So basically, I have consumed to look. You know how a cable, your telephone cable, if it peels, it doesn't work. Like you have to, that's exactly. My cables are peeled.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that's my easy version of what's going on.
That's it. Nerves. And I say, and they always short circuiting.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation. So, when I saw that group getting that big, I mean, we had 200 people requesting to get in when we went private.
Wow. And yeah, now
the reason I went private was because we're getting a lot of scams.
Yeah.
I got a lot of penises picture. I got a lot of vagina pictures too.
Okay.
I shared it with the admins because I'm not getting this by myself. So all of a sudden that group started growing. Right now we are 7,800 and I think it was like 80 something. We're close to 7.9 now.
Wow.
In 9 months.
In 9 months. That's just unbelievable how many MSers and people that have an interest of learning something about it have joined that group. And
what I love, Brian, I have people from Ireland, New Zealand, Scotland, Japan.
I was just talking to a guy from Australia today.
Exactly.
Yep.
We have people all over the world,
Yep.
all over the world.
Yep.
And one of the things that I always believe is I'm very, like, when you have MS, you become very visional. Like, you have to see it. Like, well, I'm in the autism spectrum, but it's because I don't want it like, I have a very high Q. And usually when people have a very high Q, they're deficient in something else. Like, for example, I could pull a radio apart when I was 8 years old, but I couldn't tie my shoes. So what people found hard, it was easy for me, but what people found easy, it was hard for me. So I'm like, no, I have to do this. I have to do this. And my best friend, Anna, she's like, you have to get rid of all those bitches and, start anew. And that's what I did. I elected better people. I just felt bad because Eric kept saying, well, she came with us. I didn't trust this person, but I'm like, okay, let's put it in. But you can't do that. And I didn't like the fact that he said in one of the arguments, well, I'm one of the creators and stuff like that. And that pissed me off. And I'm going to tell you why. I created the group. If you start from the first thing that I posted, it is me. It's my story.
Yeah.
And nobody helped me. I do the memes. I don't know if you see, because I want my group to be different. I don't want to have the same pictures or the same memes or whatever. So I get inspirational sometimes, and I have my own sayings. And I don't know if you've seen that. Like I create them on my own. And I'm introducing things that people think that they couldn't do anymore. I love photography. I love crafts. I love to cook. And I'm teaching people how to cook without overheating and make like quick meals, but good.
Yeah.
With photography, I just want people to take their phone and I can teach them how to change the pictures because when I see a picture, even if I copy a picture from Facebook, the picture talks to me. So it tells me if he wants light or wants darkness or wants, I don't know. I'm weird. That's how I change it and I update it depending on what they telling me.
Yeah.
And they like that. I'm telling you, we have 18 chat rooms and they are packed.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always people,
one thing I'm going to tell you, I do not go to 2 because those are the ones that are complaining and they depress me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I tell the admins to check those and I check the other ones.
Yeah.
I want to have like classes or sessions. We have a book club and now I'm introducing a little bit of what everybody likes. And one of the first book that I really want everybody to read is The Alchemist. I don't know if you ever read it.
I have not, no.
And it's an amazing book. It teaches you so much. And, just stuff like that. I want to share because, see, the guys think that I'm helping them. They're helping me because in my world now, in my imaginary world, I have people. Before I had dolls, I had the animals, I had the plants. Those were my, my people.
Right.
I have real people that care about me, that value me.
And understand.
Understand. So the group, believe it or not, gave me the strength. When I was on that floor in the bathroom, that I didn't have strength to even shovel myself back, I say, God, give me the strength. I don't ask God for anything because I know what he has. He's going to give it to me in the right time. And he's going to put me out of situations that I shouldn't be in. So I don't say, oh, I lost my job. Oh, no, God didn't want me there. That's when my faith comes in.
Yeah.
So I I said one day, if you give me the strength, I'm going to get back to where I was, at least where I was. And I went to Anna helped me, and we went to the therapy center in MS. I couldn't go to the manual therapy anymore because they didn't have the right equipment for me because I didn't have balance. I mean, it was just bad. So I went to the MS center and I said to all my therapists, I'm going to give you 200%, but I need you to help me to get back where I was. Brian, I was in that hospital every single day.
Yeah.
Because I had every single therapy, cognitive, speech, swallow, you name it, I had it.
Yeah.
And I got back.
You got back.
The day that I let go of that freaking roller, I'm like, this is it for me.
Yeah.
I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
So seeing the situation, how bad it was, there was a situation really bad that happened, especially the month that I was diagnosed. And I said, my husband doesn't love me. I'm like, what place am I in his life?
Yeah.
That was one of the hardest things that I had to face. But I am the kind of person that I'm not going to be in a place where I don't feel comfortable or nobody wants me.
Right.
So I had to make the decision because I was in the hospital every 2 weeks. I was in the hospital. I said, either you get the hell out of here or you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat them both down and I said, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
So my husband is like, oh, I'm not going to leave. I said, you're not leaving. The one that is leaving is me. But they didn't know that I was going to leave that far.
Yeah. Yeah. You picked up and went from New Jersey to Idaho. That's a big change there.
Like my cousin said, you left so nobody fuck this shit.
Yeah. Right, man. You know,
I was like, no, I don't want anybody bugging. Nothing.
Hey, you know what, Lo?
Nothing.
This is what I love about it. You did what was best for you and your fight with this disease, you know, and you
but you know why I did that, Brian? Because, and this is what people need to work on, and this is what I'm trying to show the group by example, because if you tell them, they're like, I love myself. Mm-hmm. I value myself. Yeah. I respect myself.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely, 100%. You know, and I try to tell people that, you know, and they say the story, well, I used to do this, I used to be able to do this.
Oh.
And my first answer to everybody, well, I mean, I used to play football, but I'm never going to do that again. And I know I'm not going to do it, but nobody's ever going to be able to take that away from me that I did do it. You know, MS is...
Right, we're getting old. We're not 20 anymore.
Yeah, MS is not ever going to take away the fact that I played for the University of Michigan. I went to 3 Rose Bowls.
Exactly.
You know, MS is never going to take the fact away that I have 2 kids. You know,
exactly.
They're never going to take away any of the accomplishments that I have accomplished since I've had MS. You know, I mean, I've done a lot of good things. You know, so when people say that
I think, Brian, the problem is people always wait to do things. Mm-hmm. See, I don't regret anything that I've done in my life. Even loving my husband the way I love that man, I don't regret it. Why? Mm-hmm. Because I learned that I'm capable of loving somebody blindly with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. Well, that's beautiful. And I
learned that, yeah. And I learned that he didn't love me. And I'm going to tell you the difference between love and being in love with somebody. When you love somebody because you need them, you're not in love with that person. Mm. When you need that person because you love them, that's real love.
I can't argue with that, Lily. I can't argue with that.
I remember my husband went through a kidney problem that they thought that he was going to need a kidney. I was 24. We weren't even married. We were just going out. And I told the doctors, test me. I'll give you my if he needs my kidney, I'll give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God I didn't, because now I'm fucked.
Yeah,
But that's true love.
that was love.
And
Yeah.
for somebody to feel that, God, you're capable of moving mountains.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, Lily. And I love everything you say. I love your fight. I love your attitude, man. All that you've been through, and you just keep on fighting. And it's just, you know what? I go ahead, dish it out. I'll still take it. I love that. I love that in you.
Yes. One of the things that I've gotten like back, like comments back, because I get like messages, direct messages, is like one of the things they love about the group is that my honesty. They say, like, you don't,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you have no filter.
Yeah.
And that I call them when I see them.
Yeah.
I put them, I don't care if you did it to me. No, I say, somebody did this, I'm not getting it, because I'm running the group like I raised my son.
Yeah.
I love everybody, but I'm not going to lie to you. It's like when I started doing the homework, like everything that I do has a purpose. When I put those games, like choose this and that, or if you had this, that's all for your cognitive exercises.
Sure.
But I'm doing it in a fun way.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Yeah, well, I guess somebody that has had it for 27 years, I kind of know some of the tricks that you're doing, but yeah, they're great tricks. I mean, yeah, I get, because you got to find tools. You know? I mean, you got to find tools.
And fun things.
Mm-hmm. And
do you see the hidden picture? The hidden picture is the best thing that you can do to multitask.
Yeah. Yeah, and all this is on your Facebook, and I definitely encourage anybody to check her Facebook out. Ask her. I'll put the name of it down in the comments section.
Okay.
And so you can request to get into the group. I can't recommend it more. It's an awesome group. And I really want to. What's that?
The other thing, Brian, I need people to understand something.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you, because I just remember what you said.
Mm-hmm.
When we are diagnosed, we only getting a name for all the shit that you're going through.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
For me, being that sick and seeing who my tribe was, and trust me, none of my family members.
Yeah.
It was a sense of relief, because at least I know who loved me, who was with me. I think that's a great gift.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I have tried to take all the positives I can out of the negative situations because of MS, and you know, it's something you got to do, or you're just gonna go. You know, you're gonna have a hard time mentally if you don't do it that way, in my opinion. But you know, it's a
Brian. It's so funny. It's so funny because this quacks, or I call them trolls, they come in thinking, because I've seen that in other groups, that they start picking on the admins, and the admins start crying, and they leave, and they close the groups. And I'm like, get a fucking backbone.
Yeah, right.
Brian, I'm only 4'10" and 3/4. I'm not even 4'11".
I wouldn't mess with you, man. I wouldn't mess with you, Will.
That's exactly what everybody says.
I wouldn't mess with you.
I don't physically fight. I mouthly fight. But the thing is, I have evidence. I have a proof that what I'm saying is true.
Right.
And that's what people hate, when you make them look like an ass.
Yeah.
But I'm not making you like an ass. You're an ass.
You got that right. Lil, I really want to thank you. I really want to thank you for coming on, Lil. And I can sit here and talk to you all night long. And I would definitely invite you to come back on and talk, because I think we can just sit here and talk about different topics for hours.
Anytime you want, Brian. And you know, if you want me to be permanent there, like, you know, say like somebody calls, or they want, like, you know, they have questions, I could help you with answering the questions.
Yeah.
One advice I'm gonna give you to your listeners are, you are stronger than any disease. Don't give your power to people or to a disease. Take your power back. And that's why, see, People get annoyed if somebody calls you. Let's say somebody calls you a drug addict. If you're not a drug addict, why are you going to get upset?
Right.
You have to see who's telling you that.
Yep.
It's not what is said, it's who's telling you that.
Yep. Yeah. Amen. I totally agree with you on that one, Lily.
And like I said in the MS Rebels, we take a break, but we get up.
Mm-hmm.
And in my village, no one gets left behind or forgotten.
No.
We're going to pull anybody up.
Yep. Yep. There's a lot of help. There's a lot of help in that village, yeah. Lily. Lily, thank you so much.
Put as much information as I can.
Yep. Absolutely.
Brian, you're the best. Love you.
I love you too. Lily, thank you so much for coming on. I will put the Facebook page in the bio down below. Check out her Facebook page. Ask to get into it. It is awesome. You'll like it. It's not like anyone that I've been in. Very friendly. And this is the MS Michigan Man 64, Brian.
And nice pictures, right, Brian?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice pictures.
Yeah, and I want you listeners to know that a support group is not a group where you go to whine and not do anything. Because if you're telling me you're in pain and I'm telling you do this, and that, and you don't want to do it, don't come to me asking me for any advice. There was a lady that got upset because, I don't know, there's a word of the day. So the homework was just make a sentence, because that way we can build our vocabulary and we can put sentences together, because, a lot of times we forget to do that.
Right.
And she said, why this has to do with MS? If you see my rule number 8, they are not allowed to say that, because that rattles my cage like you won't believe.
Oh.
And she goes, I said, this is homework. And she goes, because I said something about, you lazy ass, I step away for 2 days and then you don't do homework. And she's like, I'm not lazy. And I said, well, so if you're not lazy, don't take it personal. She called me a bitch. And I said, excuse me, I am the queen bitch. You
are the queen. Hey, self-proclaimed, right? There you go.
Don't lower my standards. I am proud of being a bitch. If telling you the truth in your face is being a bitch, hey, I'm a bitch.
I'd rather you be honest. You know what? If being honest, they call me an asshole, then I'm an asshole. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lily, I'm gonna get out of here, Lily. All right. I will talk to everybody later. This is the MS Michigan Man 64. Brian, I am out.